the pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel, gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting a match with the actual factual front to the back of you, capping and cracking you, packing a Mac for you. Look at them live at you. Lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting with meaning, you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am reaching with all that I'm teaching, that love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason, so think of believing. The truth of MCing is crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal, that's a ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking outcome to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. Look at them faking what we are creating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people ain't slaying. Well, maybe you do it, then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime, and the police are joking. The TV is playing that okey doke. A lot of people are dying. You seeing them joke with that cheating and lying. You seeking the vote when they telling our people now this is they hope. But did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass on? No. Oh, we've been getting this chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you get and you shopping for short. It's the boy you neglecting, the thieves and the liars. They all in your section. I'm bringing my people a different direction. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. They must be crazy. Yo, so here goes another, my sisters and brothers. It's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been off the bed while they under the covers. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not three and not two, but the one is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer with every year I get younger and younger. But someone to doubt and continue to wonder. It's crazy. They continue to blunder. It's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets that the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. Yo! I'm telling you.
Peace and much love, and welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop again. I am Minister Son 1, and here's our teacher, KRS-ONE. And your mic is off. You gotta unmute.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
No, hold on, let me just get this real quick. Let me just grab this real quick. Hold on, let me get this. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I was gonna say to you that that I wouldn't put up the other one that got cut off. I mean, we was on live,
Right.
And we could always put that one back up,
Right.
and continue to record.
No, it totally. I checked it. Just in case you couldn't make it, I was gonna play it. But no, it totally cut it off. And even the recording, as I downloaded the recording, it was cut.
Right. So either we said something that was offensive to the YouTube world, or we just got cut.
One or the other.
So either way, it is a bit of a rejoicing because you only get cut if you say something real.
Right.
So, right. Whatever we talk, the best thing to do is to cut it off. In that sense, and just on that level, I kind of agree with that too. We are on somebody else's platform, and there is a debate going on about censorship, people being able to say what they got to say without getting cut off. There is that. There is that. But I can agree, though. Even though we are victims of this censorship, I can agree, though, that no, if someone says something that is offensive or can be misconstrued as being offensive, a public forum like YouTube or any of these forums, Facebook, any of these people, they do have the right to cut your ass off. And straight up and down, because there has to be some policing of what's going on over the internet, straight up and down. So, again, I commend YouTube. Even I don't know what I might have said that may have pissed them off, but I still do commend the act in and of itself. I don't agree with censorship at all, but I do understand the argument. I guess this is a platform that should be kept very surface, very, I shall say, very surface. So, speaking of the surfaceness of these lessons, we only really want to record our reading of the Gospel of Hip Hop. But I hope that the Gospel of Hip Hop does not get to a portion where it's unable to be read over this medium. This is a public service. We're not asking for no volunteer service. Those that want to be involved with this or hear what it is we have to say here at the Temple of Hip Hop, it's up to you. We're not soliciting. We're not nothing. If you're here, it's because you want to be here. And again, like I always say, if there's anything that we say that may be offensive to you, you can always tell us too. Write it in or tell us. But know that this is a learning situation and a thinking situation. We ain't apologizing for what comes out of our mouths. No, we're not. But we are sensitive to the feelings of other people while we are teaching. Yes, indeed. And I just want to promote that bit of character, if I may say. Promote that bit of character to our membership. Now, I'm not sure if we got kicked off because of what was said. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, there's no way we would ever.
Also open, keep the door.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to prove it. I said we wouldn't be able to prove it. Is really what it comes down to. But also earlier, let me just say you are choppy right now.
Really?
As far as the movement and whatnot, and I don't want to have you start. And
am I still choppy right now?
Not this very second. No,
not at this particular moment. All right, let's try to get through it. Let me try to get through this. Get my towel over here. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's it like now? What's the deal now?
Oh, you look good.
I know I look good. Am I fidgety and looking crazy?
It's partially. It's partially. Wow. Is all I can say.
This is interesting. Well, the audio is good. Yes.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Right. So let me just really just go through our lesson today and just try to deal with this audio wise as well. I'm not going to discuss everything that I did before. First of all, whoever was on the earlier call got to hear what that was, and that's it. That won't be repeated. This is the teaching that will be up if we can manage to get through it. This will be the teaching that will be up for this Sunday. The 12 o'clock, it was just for us who was on the line before we got cut off, and I'll leave it at that. So here's the lesson again. Let me start from the very beginning. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society.
And today we were focusing a little bit on the school part because we're putting an emphasis on teaching teachers how to teach hip hop. And so without repeating everything that I said earlier, the mission of the Temple of Hip Hop is to eventually erect a hip hop city. And we thought about this for many years, how to do the city, where to do the city. This thought then branched out into, I got into a little bit on the idea of imperialism, colonialism, these kinds of things. I'm gonna leave all of that alone now and get right into the reading. If you heard it, you know, if you was there for that, take it in. It's real, and it was so real that it may have gotten us bounced off. So take that in. The other side to it, though, is that we're talking about health. That is the lesson for today, health. Health not only in your physical being, but health also in your mental being, as well as your social being. It's funny we're talking about health because I was talking to McDonald's actually about the Beyond Beef, Beyond Meat campaign, and we talked about that as well. Those who were on the earlier call, like I said, I'm not going to get into that, but it's funny that as we talk about the gospel of hip hop, how it's always so up to date. I hope you guys have your gospel of hip hop with you right now. It is always so up to date. And it seems like every time we begin to discuss, I'm back again. Am I back again?
Kind of. You doing this. Now you're gone. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can still hear you.
We can't hear you. A mic check, 1, 2. Okay, well, let's give TEACHA a moment, obviously. Peace and welcome, everybody. As you all know, the Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. Our approach to hip hop is unique in the fact that we believe in preserving the actual hip hopper as our main way of preserving hip hop. This week and the next couple of weeks, we're going to be dealing with the Hlaw. And this reading in particular, teaches going to go throughout the first principle. I won't give my commentary on it right now because hopefully we'll be able to get into that a little bit later. But as we all know, a lot of times we put our health technically kind of goes to the back of our mind. And actually, hold on, excuse me 1 second. We're actually going to play Crazy one more time while we figure what's going on.
Yeah! My lyrics is crazy. They must be crazy. My lyrics is crazy. Chris is the pharaoh with bow and the arrow. We double the barrel, gorilla apparel, the mightiest barrel. Don't think of a battle. My lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting a match with the actual factual front to the back of you, tapping and cracking you, packing a Mac for you. Looking them live at you. Lyrics is coming so crazy. Spitting with meaning, you see what I'm teaching your mind. I am reaching with all that I'm teaching, that love and that peace, and it never will weaken. The truth I am speaking is crazy. Truth I am speaking, get used to repeating. The youth I am reaching with proof of this teaching. I speak for a reason, so they can believe in the truth of MC, and it's crazy. Cracking the back of these rappers, I'm passing these actors, I'm faster. Spitting metal, that's a ripping clubs forever. We becoming better, spreading love forever. Crazy. You hearing a pro, I'm spitting a flow that you know. Higher level thinking I'll come to show. Knowledge of self is a thing you must know. You see what they playing, they steady betraying the culture we making, exploiting and taking. Look at them faking what we are creating. Now you mistaken what's real and what's faking. This ain't what do for the money they making. They sell out their people, their culture, their nation. Sell out their soul for a radio station so they can be playing in heavy rotation. You see what I'm saying? Our culture they taking, but that's not enough. It's our spirit they breaking, and only the culture can see what I'm saying, cause only the culture will see them betraying. You see what they playing, you see what they saying, and you cannot see us. Our people they slaying. Well, maybe you do, and then maybe you don't, and then maybe you will, and then maybe you won't. But it's our community that's losing hope with the greed and the crime, and the police are joking. The TV is playing that okey doke. A lot of people are dying. You seeing them joke with that cheating and lying. You seeking the vote when they telling our people now this is they hope, but did anything change with the last vote? No. The time before that did we pass on? No. Oh, we been getting this chapter 11 while racists with weapons are shooting our reverence. A message from heaven with all that you get and get understanding, overstanding this lesson with all of the bling and the cash that you get and you choking for sure. It's the boy you neglecting, the thieves and the liars. They all in your section. I'm bringing my people a different direction. Crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. Huh. They must be crazy. Yo, so here goes another, my sisters and brothers. It's obvious KRS ain't like these others. I've been out the bed while they under the covers. I spit off the head while they babble and stutter. Not three and not two, but the one is my number. I'm spitting my written. I tour every summer with every year I get younger and younger. But someone to doubt and continue to wonder is crazy. They continue to blunder, it's crazy. They continue to slumber. What I am teaching is what I'm expressing. I'm teaching the streets that the mind is a weapon. Like anything you can perceive in perception is what you will manifest all in your section. It's crazy. Set up your own direction. Crazy. Don't get caught up in complexion. Crazy. This is that reason I'm spitting and books getting written, cause you be forgetting it's crazy. My lyrics is crazy. I'm coming so crazy. Yo! I'm telling you, yo, I'm telling you.
Full of hip-hop, face the rhyme. Nah, I mean, you can damn near taste the rhyme. Shit. Fuck these niggas talk about God is out. Say that. Above all the doubt, you know who brought it out. All amounts to the fallen count from a starving mouth. Straight to the harvest ground, digging up the rawest sound. Yeah, overstand what I'm calling down. Haters all around. Supreme gladiator in a hall of clowns. God don't need a crown. Rap is bargain style, getting dressy. Apparently, you see the gowns. Meanwhile, someone is back to solidify the I and I higher mind. Water bearers time, fire, water, time, fire, fire. Burning since the beginning, spinning through the sands of time. Nigga fan bands, hand grands just to stand in line. We weaving, retrieving while sleepers keep dreaming. Solar rays beaming, receiving frequencies they don't believe in. I've been itching for a reason, increasing beyond diseases. Deleting by secreting through the poison. Lead the fuck with your move, but these niggas gotta move. There's just not enough room. I'm bringing my God. I mean, fuck coming soon. It's been long overdue for the real and for the truth. I'm bringing my God. For those who ain't attuned, I suggest you get in tune. If you ready for the truth, I'm bringing my God. Do what you gotta do. Great spirit coming through, ancestors coming through. I'm bringing my God. This heavy you can't ignore. I kick the hinges off the door. Niggas full, I give you more. Burst the hook like good form. Category 7 storms that ain't never been performed. Can't say you ain't informed or ain't never been warned. We gon' exceed every norm, every expert being torn by the old stay up strong. Coast to coast, door to door. Mean to fuck with your move, but these niggas gotta move. There's just not enough room. I'm bringing my God. I mean, fuck coming soon. It's been long overdue for the real and for the truth. I'm bringing my God. For those who ain't attuned, I suggest you get in tune. If you ready for the truth, I'm bringing my God. Do what you gotta do. Great spirit coming through, ancestors coming through. I'm bringing my God. For all my niggas in the street that's been hustling to eat, ladies strolling on the beat, I'm bringing my God. My people trapped in a cell that's already in hell, being told they have failed. I'm bringing my God. To the babies that's confused in the cycle of abuse, you can't break out of the loop. I'm bringing my God. For those who were born ready but studying something heavy and down the rock steady, I'm bringing my God. We gon' turn up the pressure, deliver you something fresher than ever. From the oppressors to the rightful successors, identified by the measure, no bullshit whatsoever. To God, no intercessor, communicating together, exposing the transgressors that rather you know never. Been thinking they so clever, pretending they know better. Teaching you that you lesson, but this is their last semester. We tired these fake professors professing they about to lecture. Scars turf, devil gets no dominion. Fact, fuck what you heard, learn informed, that's opinion. This division of religions is caused by politicians. By tradition, these conditions continue your submission. Cause they whitewash your brain till you perceive it's your decision. Infatuated by the light show, that's fucking up your vision. Blind to the sight that you've been witnessing magicians. Killing your intuition from giving you no nutrition. Praise God.
Well, first of all, let's start with the acronym for diet by Simone. Diet. Did I eat that? Interesting. D-I-E-T. Did I eat that? Diet. Diet, we start here with did I eat that because that's usually the guilt you feel after you know you've eaten something that you were not supposed to eat. And eating things that you're not supposed to eat has become what a diet actually is. Somebody say you should go on a diet, meaning you should stop eating the stuff that's making you overweight or whatever. You should go on a diet. But really, when you go on a diet, you're really talking about just eating healthy foods. You shouldn't have to ask, did I eat that? With a healthy diet. In fact, maybe the inflection is different. Did I eat that? Yes, I did. Meaning, bitter herbs and roots. Did I eat that? Yes, I did. One last piece on this is that food is mood. That's what I always try to get across. Food is mood. There's no such thing really as food. That's sort of a fictitious title. The real meaning of food is chemicals going into your body and being transformed into moods, actions. Everything you eat has an intelligence to it. The body is reading food. You eat food, but the body reads food. And it reads it for its intelligence. It reads it to know how it should approach it. When you eat something and you throw it up, meaning your body rejected that food, it is because the body read it, and the answer to whatever that was get it out of me immediately. The body's reacted in this way. So you speak to your body. Literally, you write to your body based on what you eat, what you put into your body. Now, keep in mind that the body will have you eating some crazy stuff unto itself. The body loves salt. Because you're 98% sea salt water. You're 98% water, and that water is sea salt. So the body loves salt all day and all night. The body loves sugar. Your brain can't function without sugar, glycose. You need that sugar in your brain to get your brain started. All these things as well, even eating meat and, all kinds of animals and stuff, the body craves this stuff and wants it. So the last part about eating correctly is know thyself. You may come from a meat-eating family, you trying to be a vegetarian and wonder why you depressed. No, go ahead and hit that cow, my G. Get that in you, because it's better to be happy and eating. Look, I'll put it this way. If you eat poison and you're happy about it, you die happy. Look at the logic of it real quick. You eat poison, but I'm happy. You die happy. Or you eat good food, but you're sad. You die sad. So what is the point? The point is be happy. Be content with who you are. Somebody else may be a vegetarian and that makes them happy. You may want to chomp down that fish. You may need a ham and cheese sandwich, real talk. You might need a burger, cheeseburger at that, real talk. The body is reading food. It is not eating it like you are. So make sure you're writing the right messages to your body based on your traditions and who you were brought up by and as. It's not what goes into a man's mouth or into a person's mouth that defiles them. It's what comes out of their mouth that defiles them.
Okay, welcome back. Um, Teacher's on his way here, so we don't have these issues anymore with the Wi-Fi's and all that good stuff. Um, but as I was saying earlier, was that essentially, excuse me, I actually just tried to scarf something down, break my fast today. Whoa. Okay. Um, we tend to put our health uh, out of our mind, or when we feel great, or we're living our normal life, we believe everything's fine. Um, and so obviously you do what you want, but then some people or they'll go to a doctor for a normal checkup. They don't think it's nothing. It's their annual checkup. Um, and then the doctor comes back and tells them some wild stuff. And teacher kind of spoke about this earlier, to where is the effect of what the mind is having over your experience. So having knowledge of a certain sickness or an ailment such as high blood pressure or um, even cancer or something like that, the knowledge of it seems to have an effect that it can throw the body, or it makes that, it seems to speed up that process. And so you got to be able to keep that in mind as far as the power of your mind, essentially. And one thing where, or that our gospel teaches us as far as mental health, that you have to be able to have control over your mind and have control over your emotions, so that for one, you don't overreact to certain things. We're actually, or my family is actually going through something right now. Whereas we were told something by doctors that we don't know what could possibly be the worst outcome. But again, I'm never looking at it as though it would be a horrible outcome. And the reason why I don't look at it that way, or whichever way, whatever happens, my trust in God is first or foremost. And because also with things such as that, it's like, no, by the time I'd send the one, if you did something to your body to get it to the point that where you just went in for a regular checkup, and now your doctor is informing you of something essentially catching up to you that you've been doing for a long while, it's out of your hands, technically, or there's nothing that you could do now to stop the past from happening, if you can get what I'm saying. And so for the fact that you can't stop the past, because the past is already done, or it was its own present, and pretty much for whatever reason, it was what it was. But so now moving forward, obviously you can try to make, or now it's trying to play catch up and trying to make adjustments in order to make that happen. But at the same time, we know, or those who study the gospel of hip hop know, that No, you don't necessarily really even have that much control over what's happening in the present. And to be able to accept that and know that no, if whatever is going to actually happen, odds 10 to 1 is for the better of all. This is the faith that we keep. This is the trust that we have with God, and it's also technically the evidence that we have to look at from past occurrences. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get something out of when looking at situation. Actually, you know what? And I'm gonna kind of put it out there. Okay, so there's a question as to whether or not my soon to be child, whether or not it's in the best position within the womb to incubate and become whole or to grow, this, that, and the third. And so it would be a doctor's suggestion to what to do as far as handling whether it's safe or not safe. Now, to me, looking at it, my ultimate thing right now is my wife being safe. Of course, I want this new being to come into existence, but not at the stake of my wife. And I had mentioned it was a hard talk. It was a very hard talk. To whereas essentially what I had to or tried to comfort her with is that no matter what happens, if you trust in God the right way, you know that God might be preventing a much greater hurt that you could suffer more than what you think that your suffering actually is. Like technically, I technically just experienced it. I could have just used me. See, I'm out here telling business, bringing you all the way in. No, or my circumstances could have been way worse as to my existence right now. But no, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm sitting here giving a sermon to the Temple of Hip Hop, an international culture of peace and prosperity, hip hop, right now. It's like, no, to get caught up in what it appears to be, as opposed to what it really very likely possibly is or could have been, is really what I'm getting at. And no, of course, I don't believe anything's going to happen in a bad way. I believe I deserve all greatness, and I just think people are bugging. And I'm sure. I mean, what did we do when there was no doctor to say nothing like that? Or I could be wrong about that. I'm not gonna act like I know, but no. With a person like me, though, no, I give it to God. Or God is the ultimate, I would even say, deliverer of health. Teacher spoke about earlier, and I was going to mention this in my recap of how he was speaking about it might not actually even be the food, but also your interpretation of the food before you even take it. Now, and the way I visualized this in my mind was that, right, okay, I have this thing with pasta. I love pasta. But there's this or I don't know what you would call it. There's this thing with pasta where a lot of people say, no, you eat too much pasta, you're gonna get fat. And so I eat the pasta with that in my mind. Like going in, I'm like, I'm gonna get fat if I eat too much of this. I started eating it. But that's already there. And whether we believe it or not, that has an effect. It's a combination of your body reading the food and what you're telling the body that it is as well. We can't escape that the majority of reality is perception. And that's what I'm saying. This is hardcore science. That's like hardcore science. And no, they know that for sure. Whether they want to admit that there's a God involved in it or not, they do know without a doubt that no. Or this is why people can do miraculous things, like or walk across hot coals. Woman all of a sudden, or everybody heard about this, I'm sure. Woman who got so much adrenaline, or their child was ran over, and the woman got so much adrenaline that she lifted the car up, and the child came out, and there's no way that she could lift the car. But something in her mind said, no, I can lift this. I'm going to lift this car. Watch me do it. And she did it. And very likely could never do it again because she didn't really have that much faith in herself. Didn't have that belief, but at that moment, she believed she could. And we need to take that into consideration. Hardcore, I can tell you right now, that's how I'm here. I'm here because I believed I could. I believed I could be here. If I was half with it, I don't think I would. I wouldn't have the audacity or right the first time of even getting with our teacher KRS-ONE. He asked if anybody had any questions. I actually did have a question. I think about it, but essentially I said I don't have any questions about what you said. So what you said was right and exact and on point, and it resonates with me. But I got these beats. Now, again, this is the first question being asked after this. After he just gave the most mind-blowing, especially at this time, the most mind-blowing, soul shaking lecture. He just did this. And I stand up with some beats. That type of thing. It comes with a certain audacity. No, right? I have the audacity to believe I'm supposed to help the Temple of Hip Hop, help hip hop. Out of all people in the world, I'm saying no, it's me. As well as teacher is saying it's him. And that's him.
Don't let us get it hot. Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I have made it to a better situation. Get my act together right now. Yeah, man. Where my glasses at? So we are live in the let me grab that. Give me this. Oh, that's yours. This is me. Okay. Okay, I'm back in business. Somehow in my house, the connection was actually crazy. And I'm gonna have to look into that. So again, I thank you for performing patience as we try to get this lesson actually recorded and taught today. A lot going on today. Trying to get our technical situation here together as well. I didn't bring a towel either. All right. Let's get right to work. Actually, let me. I don't want to say, son, what if you have any opening remarks? But yeah, thank you. I got that. Right. Okay. Yeah. So as you know, we had some technical difficulties, so I ran over here to be in a better technical situation, which is where Minister Son 1 actually is, which happens to be in the hotel and more solid situation. And so we're gonna continue our studies here like this. And I had to just run over. I was a couple of minutes away, so I just ran over, and here we are now. So and like I said before, those that were with us earlier, what was said for us. For some reason, that was just what it was, and that's what I was feeling at the time. And of course, the whole discussion about the burger and culture moving, this kind of thing. That was part of the beginning of this lesson, but because of the technical difficulties that I'm seeming to be going through, this lesson now got broken up. And I love it because, you know, nothing is really a mistake and nothing is really an error. There's a reason why I'm here right now, and I'm taking full advantage of it. So turn your Gospels right now to page 206. We're going to get right into this. And what we're talking about is health. And I'm going to read the whole thing again. And I'm wondering if we do we take the same break or?
No, because I played it.
Oh, so we can always find something else.
Yeah.
Technically, but no, I'll just go straight through then. Let's get right to work. So, health, which is what we're talking about, is a state of being at peace in one's mind and body. Now, I had stopped here at this place, right? Because this is very important. And let me also say this. Health, the first paragraph of health is highlight. Highlight the whole first paragraph, paragraph 1. Okay, that's an important paragraph. Let's highlight that. But here's how it starts. And this is probably the most important line to underline. Actually, let me just go ahead and do that myself. What am I underlining? I'm underlining health is a state of being at peace in one's mind. This is the centerpiece right here. This is it right here. Health is a state of being at peace in one's mind. Now here's the full sentence. Health is a state of being at peace in one's mind and body. It is a state of being well or whole. For hip hoppers, health is the state of total physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. Now notice that that's why this line is important, because most of the time when we highlight our paragraphs, it's because we're giving you the identity of the hip hopper or explaining something about the gospel of hip hop that teachers need to know. So this first piece right here is more about the identity and character of the hip hopper, his or herself. For hip hoppers, health is the state of total physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. We add social to our state of health because of the experiences that we go through as hip hoppers, and not just Black people, hip hoppers, urban people, people associated with our culture, living in big major cities. Our social situation is also affecting our health. So we can't just be healthy in mind and body. In fact, it might be very difficult to be healthy in mind and body if in fact the environment in which you're in, or even the interaction you're having with other people is not right or is toxic to you. And again, this is what social means, the interaction between human beings toward one another, social, being social. But if you have a toxic social situation, this can be just as toxic as being insane or having an illness in the body. And of course, spiritual well-being. I ain't got to dwell on that. So let me just keep it moving. So this is the whole piece right here that's important to understand. Health is a state of being at peace in one's mind and body. It is the state of being well or whole. For hip hoppers, health is the state of total mental and spiritual well-being. That's health for us. A healthy hip hopper has a positive attitude about life itself and is at peace with the state of his physical body as well as his mind, as well as her mind. The gospel of hip hop speaks like this. I'll say it again, that the gospel of hip hop speaks with both her and him as representing all of humanity. This particular lesson is using the him, which is standard in Western culture. But we also, you'll notice throughout the gospel, we also use her and she as representative of all of humanity. The same way people use him and he to represent all of humanity. Just know that as well within the explanation of the book itself. So a healthy hip hopper has a positive attitude about life itself and is at peace with the state of his physical body as well as his mind. A healthy hip hopper, even when sick, is undefeated. Now here's the underline this line. In fact, being healthy does not mean freedom from sickness. It means continuous healing. Underline that. You know what else also? I want to sit higher. Chair. Excuse me. I'm going to change my chair real quick. I feel like I'm sitting on the floor. Hold up. Yeah, man. Okay, yeah, this is cool. I almost get my head chopped off up here. No. This is cool. As a matter of fact, I was trying to see a book, but you know what? What? This? Oh, I thought this was part of the TV or something. Let me lift this up. Hold on, guys. 1 minute. Bear with us. This is a live production going down here. All right, we're good. All right. So I'll just continue. Oh, yes, chair is way better. Oh, good looking. So underline paragraph 2. Very important in terms of health. In fact, being healthy does not mean freedom from sickness. It means continuous healing. For we are all healing every day. Right now, as you read or hear this instrument, you are healing. Your body and mind are all regenerating themselves and dissolving potential sickness right now at this very moment. The question is, what are you doing to assist in such a process? The body is in need of life-giving, nutritious foods, physical exercise, and rest. The mind is in need of stimulating ideas, purpose, and knowledge, especially knowledge about itself. The spirit is in need of peace, love, unity, and joy. Together, they are all in need of a stable and nurturing environment. For hip hoppers, this is a healthy lifestyle. Now stop here, because earlier in our talk, I elaborated on the need for our hip hop city and the need for safe hip hop spaces for us, for how we live, for how we express ourselves, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? Is this
It's gonna take away your life.
Okay, leave it then. So this was interesting because this part here about the spirit is in need of peace, love, unity, and joy. Together, they are all of these, the spirit, the mind, the body, together, they are all in need of a stable and nurturing environment. For hip hoppers, this is a healthy lifestyle. So that part about that healthy environment, that's what points to the hip hop city. That's what points to little hip hop within cities around the world. That's what points to that. But you can see where the inspiration for that is coming from. It's about our health. And in this instance, it's about our health as a community. Health is one of the only true forms of material wealth a hip hopper has. Therefore, throughout our lifetime, we must seek to spend our wealth wisely. Health is also about overcoming sickness. Not that you will never be sick, but how fast do you overcome and or recover from sickness, even prevent sickness? All of this points to good health. However, we must not wait until we are sick to try to be healthy. Instead, when we are healthy, we should try to be even healthier. Isn't it funny how when we are sick and we wish to recover, we eat all the right things and get plenty of rest. Then, when we fully recover because of the healthy foods, drugs, and rest we have taken, we go right back to the very foods, drugs, and nonstop activities that got us sick in the first place. We must reverse this. Now, see, you'll notice in these writings here that this has to do with a certain level of maturity, that we used to do some old stupid stuff, but for the sake of your health, as you get older, you're going to have to embrace this maturity. You're going to have to embrace the maturity. And what is the maturity? We're going to have to reverse some things. Be wise about your health. Prevention is the key. Don't use the hospital to patch yourself up after you become sick. Use the hospital and the expertise it provides to prevent sickness and physical harm to yourself. Before you become a diabetic, you should eat as if you are recovering from diabetes now. Before you are diagnosed with cancer, you should eat, think, and live as if you are trying to overcome cancer now. If you know that certain foods, drugs, and even rest periods are responsible for your recovery, for the recovery of your health when you are sick, then why not make these certain foods, drugs, and rest periods a regular habit in your daily life before you get sick? This is the logic to a healthy diet. Why not eat healthy now and rest as often as you can, so that you may dramatically decrease your chances of being sick at all? This is what it means to be conscious or aware. Isn't it funny, even ironic, how you can never find time to rest and care for yourself until you get sick? Think about that. Isn't it funny, even ironic, how you can never find time to rest or care for yourself until you get sick? As long as you can move around, you will. You will work, and even work some more with no time toward the upkeep of yourself until you get seriously ill. You can never find time to rest or read or commune with God or listen to soothing, relaxing, healing music until you are confined to a bed, sick and in pain. We must reverse this. And every time you see the "we must reverse this," that's a call to a certain level of maturity. Why must God slap you down in sickness for you to focus upon your own well-being today? Is this not immature on your part? Shouldn't you be voluntarily seeking and planning your own well-being through moments of rest, right thinking, right eating, and exercise? Look at that. Rest, right thinking, right eating, and exercise. Or is this the true purpose for sickness? To get you to focus upon those things that truly matter. Let me make sure I said that right. To get you to focus upon those things that truly matter. And look at that. When you're sick and in the bed, crazy. I was talking earlier about my sinus infections, like crazy. Years ago, I got rid of them. But I evolved past certain eating habits and so on, which were affecting my sinuses. And it's like when you're sick in the bed and you're in pain, you start thinking about all the things you should have did and all the things you could have did. And now that you're in this pain and debilitated, you can't do what you want to do. But when you was healthy and running around, you didn't do it. This is the immaturity. This is the piece right here. And it's better said than done. We all suffer from this. And that's why this lesson is important. Don't think that I'm sitting here going, yeah, I got it all. Nah, this is the hard piece. This is a hard piece right here to actually do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. It's called responsibility. We talked about this a few lessons back with perform responsibility. But take a look at it. It's only when you're sick you realize how important things are. You have to realize how important things are without being sick. That's the issue. I'm in paragraph 11. I'm on page 208. Isn't it equally ironic how your friends, family, and even employers will deny you time to yourself unless you are sick and in pain? This is the other side to it. So you're working yourself to death, okay? But there's your friends, your family, your employers, peers, people around you who are watching you work yourself and adding to it, okay? So isn't it equally ironic how your family, and employers will deny you time to yourself unless you are sick and in pain? It seems that only when you are sick can your so-called friends and family, as well as your bosses, treat you the way that they are supposed to in order to maintain your good health. Let me read that one more time. It seems that only when you are sick can your so-called friends and family, as well as your bosses, treat you the way that they are supposed to in order to maintain your good health. When you were up and about, healthy and working, it was actually them and their circumstances that made you sick. Them and their situations that made you sick. When you are sick and in pain, it seems to be at that time that you focus upon all that you should have, or all that you should have done to remain healthy. That's what I just said. When you're sick and in pain, then you think, well, man, I shouldn't have ate that. Oh man, I shouldn't have did that. Oh man, I shouldn't have did it. But now you're sick and in pain and paying for it. All of your goals and dreams seem very important when you are sick. Nothing going on in the world seems to be of much importance when you are sick and focused upon your recovery. Grow up, hip hopper. This is the key line. Prevention is the key to good health. Underline that part. Just that, not the whole paragraph, just 12, the end of the last sentence of paragraph 12. Prevention is the key to good health. Don't wait till you're sick to think about being healthy. While you're healthy, think about being healthy. Achieve your goals now while you are in good health. Seek your God now while you are in good health. Eat right, think right, and live right while you are in good health. Do not squander the riches of your good health on lust, drugs, overeating, partying, anger, worry, and or depression. Look at what was just said here too. And the opposite of this is horrible health. But look at this. Do not squander the riches. Do not squander the riches of your good health on lust, drugs, overeating, partying. Stop here at partying. I talked about this earlier. Partying. I'm the party animal, okay? But right here, we're dealing with the truth. You can't party all the time and be out like, no, angry all the time, worried all the time, depressed all the time. This is going to debilitate your health. So the idea is respect yourself. Do not neglect yourself. Every day that you are healthy is a day to rejoice, like today. Every healthy moment that you experience is an opportunity to enjoy, to achieve your life purpose. Enjoy your life purpose. Let me hit it again. Every healthy moment that you experience is an opportunity to achieve your life purpose. Without health, you can't achieve your purpose. So you have health to achieve purpose. Cherish and make wise use of your healthy days. Without good health, all worldly goals will be difficult to achieve. Joy is an effect of good health. Peace is an effect of good health. Yeah, look at that. Peace is an effect of good health. Every act or thought should be checked against one's status of good health. For in the world, there is nothing more important to preserve than one's good health. If you are healthy, there is no need to ever really be depressed. Health is happiness. Be happy today. Do not wait until you are sick to then realize this truth, how happy you were. It's like when you get sick again, you debilitated, you can't move or whatever. You always think about the happier times you had. And even in argument or some calamity, you say, man, but it's not as bad as how I feel right now. And you begin to wonder about those other times. Man, I was stressing over nothing, really. And not that it was nothing, it was big at the time, but compared to open heart surgery or brain, neurological surgeries, or you got to take these 8 pills or something. Now you look back and say, man, my life was not that bad. Well, that life that was not that bad is the life you live in right now. This is the life you live in right now. It's the life that's not that bad. Because right now, if you walked out and got shot, let's just say, you'd be like, nah, the life I was just living was fine compared to this. Okay? So think about that, really. Like the life you live in right now is a really good life. It got problems. Of course it does. You got challenges. But if you're listening to me right now, chances are you're pretty healthy, or you're recovering. But, think about that for a minute. The present moment and your health in it. This is what I choose to do with my health. Right now, I'm living healthy. I got a little healthy. I'm about as healthy as I could be. And, and this is what it is. So this is what I choose to do. This is how I choose to spend my health money. This is what I choose to do with it, like this. And I have to do this because, again, we are the first of our kind. We have to establish hip hop seriously, beyond the joke, the game, and the entertainment. What is our real children going to have for a lineage and a heritage? So don't get me started on that. But this is the point, though. Cherish and make wise use of your healthy days. This is very important. Be happy to wait until you are sick to then realize this truth, to then realize I had it good and squandered it with, whatever, starting with ungratefulness, and it's hard to see it. This is why sickness comes in a spiritual sense. It's why sickness comes, for you to focus. It's not that bad. Good physical health can be sustained with discipline, parentheses, self-control. While sickness almost always begins with temptation, parentheses, spiritual weakness. Not that you will never be sick in life. And notice how the gospel keeps going back to that. Not that you'll never be sick, but discipline, self-control, minimizes your chances of attracting certain illnesses that could have otherwise been avoided. That's the key to discipline right there, and the key to prevention of disease. Discipline is a prevention of disease. It's not just something, she or he is disciplined. Oh, so their moral character is cool because they discipline. That's cool. But here in a health situation, being disciplined has to do with how long you're going to live and how you're going to live. The quality of your life and the quantity of your life depends on your discipline. Look at idea, and we're looking at self-control. Have control over yourself. We all say we do, until the brisket of beef goes by. We all say we do until the salmon and the this and the that. We break down real quick. Because, of course, you can say, oh, man, yeah, I got the discipline, yeah. But the way life works is the very thing that you want is going to be the very thing right there. And can you resist it for something higher? That's the question. That's the question. And that's also the question of maturity of mind, body, and, of course, soul, spirit, or spirit in that sense. So, not that you will never be sick in life, but discipline, self-control, minimizes your chances of attracting certain illnesses that could have been otherwise avoided. To ensure good health, the attuned hip-hopper must first adopt a habit of responsible thinking and eating. Not just responsible eating, but responsible thinking and eating. In this overstanding, the one we're reading, the Temple of Hip Hop offers a standard strategy toward responsible thinking and eating and good overall health. So that's what this is, a standard strategy. Because we're going to talk further about know thyself. One man's poison is another man's cure. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but that's why that's what this is here. However, Right. Let me hit that again. In this overstanding, the Temple of Hip Hop offers a standard strategy toward responsible thinking and eating and good overall health. This is a standard strategy. However, the attuned hip hopper must discover, study, and know the makeup of his or her own mind and physical body in order to reach a maximum level of personal health. Study yourself. Study yourself. This is great for health. Know what gives you heartburn, and know what gives you a headache, and know what gives you constipation. Somebody else could do something, and somebody else. I mentioned earlier about my mother, I can't take peppers, hot peppers, one little pepper, jalapeno, I can't deal with none of that. I don't want to be tortured while I eat, okay? I want to eat the food. I want my mouth burning. And then on top of that, when I take these peppers, I sometimes get heartburn and all that. My body can't do the peppers. But my mother, oh my God, okay. She got stories. Like I said, she went down to New Mexico, found the hottest pepper in New Mexico. The Mexicans said, this is it. This is going to rock your mouth right now.
She popped it in and said, you failed. That was it. She's running around looking for some hot sauce. My son is trying to get her, his grandmother, the hottest sauce. They running around trying to get hot sauce. I can't deal with that. I can't do the hot sauce like that. And I like hot sauce. I'll do something like Tabasco sauce or Texas Pete or something watered down, that kind of stuff. I'll do a little bit of that. But when you kick it up to like Tabasco sauce, nope, sorry. I'm out the box with that. Jalapenos and all, none of that. I say this to say, one woman's hot pepper is another man's heartburn. And this is, you got to study yourself to know what you're dealing with. I mentioned earlier about my daughter's allergic to fish, especially shellfish. Now, a lot of people are allergic to shellfish and fish in general, but all I eat is fish. Like I said, I lean toward that vegetarian diet, but when I have to eat any kind of flesh, it's going to be a fish meal. My daughter can't even do the fish. So even relatives, family is not even, conducive. And some of you may know what I'm talking about in other areas. Some of your family can eat beans. Others of your family can't eat no beans or peanuts or this kind of thing. You got to know who you are. And this is the key to it. Sure, there's a standard. And like I said, high blood pressure and, with black men in their 50s, that high blood pressure and heart disease and kidney failure and all of that. And then, of course, to the rest of the population, heart failure is the number one deal going down right now. Kidney, liver failure, that's everybody, really. But it comes with this salt, that sugar, that fried food, this guy. So at some point, we have to begin to not neglect ourselves, what I'm trying to get to here, and learn who you are. Learn what you are about. Some people can eat bacon until they into their 80s. Other people, one sliver of bacon, have a heart attack. I read somewhere that one bag of potato chips, one bag of, I don't want to say Lay's potato chips. I don't know if it was Lay's, but they said a bag of potato chips, one bag of potato chips has enough salt to cause a heart attack. And we just go like, but you don't think about it. You're not thinking about it. So you just eat it, and your body's resilient, so it deals with it. But if you really, the doctor will tell you, if you got a weak heart or, any kind of high blood pressure and diabetes, you can't do that. And this stuff will kill you, straight up. So why are we not looking at it now as a poison? Why, it's like a poison in a nice bright bag. You got to be able to take a look at this. We got to be able to take a look at this. Moving over to paragraph 17. I'm on page 209, looking at paragraph 17. I just want to. I'm stumbling here because I just want to hit the last part of 16 again. It concludes my point. However, the attuned hip hop must discover, study, and know the makeup of his own mind and physical body in order to reach a maximum level of personal health. That's the point. Study yourself. The attuned hip hopper must know what foods, thoughts, and environments he or she is allergic to and which enhance his well-being. The attuned hip hopper must know, and notice I'm saying the attuned hip hopper. This is not just for the hip hopper or the true hip hopper. These are actual terms and codes. We'll get down to them later on. But this is not just for the average hip hopper. This is for the attuned hip hopper, the one who is walking on this path right here, the one who is attuned, in line with, in harmony with hip hop as culture. The attuned hip hopper must know and begin to pay more attention to the foods, thoughts, and environments that settle the body, mind, and spirit. With a health, what is healthy to some can easily cause sickness in others. One man's poison is another man's cure. Know thyself. Even if you are sick today, do not allow such sickness to overcome your ability to cure yourself. Like some people get sick and then they just lay it down. That's it, I'm done. Now you get sick, this is terrible, but don't let it overcome your ability to cure yourself. All sickness is curable. Listen to your own inner voice and be guided. Do not be led by the negative or positive reports of doctors and nurses. With all due respect, they have been baffled over and over again by the human body's own miraculous healing abilities. Go wherever you must go and do whatever you must do to achieve maximum health. Listen and be guided. Know thyself. Those that are on this path, your body will talk to you long before the illness comes. Little belches and things like that. Once the body talks to you, listen. The body isn't talking, listen to it and obey. And you'll see the body will navigate you through a lot of different little deals. In addition to knowing the deeper essence of yourself, it is just as important to consciously take care of yourself. Neglect is the #1 cause of fatal illness. Do not neglect yourself. Respect yourself. Check your status of health regularly, not just by getting a physical checkup, but by seriously examining what works for the sustainment of your well-being and what simply does not. I want you to underline, though, this piece right here where it says neglect is the #1 cause of fatal illness. Now we're gonna highlight 21, highlighting 21, paragraph, the whole paragraph 21, and here's why. Others may be able to indulge in fast foods, smoking, drinking, etc. But because of the life path that you have chosen, such simple pleasures may indeed be toxic to you. Others may vomit at the very smell of bitter herbs and raw vegetables. However, because of the life path that you have chosen, such foods may be exactly what you need to survive. Do not force your way upon anyone, and equally allow no one to force their way upon you. Know thyself. Highlight that whole piece. Paragraph 22, page 210. On the subject of good physical health, there is no one strategy fits all recipe. And those who refuse to modify and or change their destructive thinking habits will have little success with maintaining good physical health, even if they change their diet. Did I eat that? Sickness is almost always caused by self-neglect and or destructive thinking habits. However, there are some general principles to achieving good health that can get anyone started toward realizing the Hlaw, and they are as follows. And of course, the Hlaw: health, love, awareness, and wealth. We are reading the health section of the Hlaw, which is the 4th overstanding of this gospel of hip hop. So normally I would take a break right now, but I guess I'm just gonna keep moving. What, should I jump up and start spitting raw rhymes? Yeah. Don't get gassed. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and continue the reading and keep it moving. Like I said, we're going to read the whole first principle. The whole first principle, stopping at the second principle. Here's the first principle to health, according for hip hoppers, for those that are walking the path. First principle. First, the attuned hip hop. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. This whole paragraph, this first paragraph is highlighted as well. This whole paragraph, 23. The first, it says first principle. This whole paragraph is highlighted. First principle. First, the attuned hip hopper must come to the realization that the term food is misleading. It's a misleading title. Most people believe the term food means anything that you can eat. This is not true. Food is any substance that provides nutrition or maintains life. Idea is also food. In fact, it's usually the consumption of the food idea that leads us to the physical eating of a specific food item. One should first avoid eating bad food ideas. Highlight the whole piece. Paragraph 24. The body is nourished by life-sustaining foods, while the mind is nourished by life-sustaining ideas. The spirit is nourished by love, while society is nourished by order. If any one of these foods, and look at the foods now we're looking at, proteins, water, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, productive ideas, love, purpose, peace, order, etc., is missing from one's regular diet, sickness, or in parentheses, spiritual disharmony and weakness, end parentheses, is bound to manifest. Look what we need to be healthy. Protein, water, carbohydrates, vitamin, minerals, productive ideas. Productive ideas is just as important as eating good food. Love and purpose, peace and order. These things are just as important as eating well. In fact, the opposite is like a poison. Living in a society of disorder. It don't matter what you eat. If you walk outside the door, it's finished. You can't even, there's no order in the society. You might even walk outside and get beat over your head because there's no order. Hit by a car. Why? There's no order. Can't get to where you going. Why? Because nobody cares about nothing. There's no order. Your boss said be in at 9 o'clock. You get there at 9 o'clock. The doors ain't even open because he ain't there. The order. It's like without order, what you could be healthy all day, but if you live in an environment where the police can shoot you in the back, what difference does it make? This is your health is also your society. It's not just what goes in your mouth. Your health includes your environment and where you are. This is very important. And then, of course, the ideas. So look at it. Productive ideas, love, purpose, peace, order, etc. If these things are missing from one's regular diet, okay, sickness, which is spiritual disharmony, and weakness, spiritual weakness or spiritual disharmony sickness is bound to manifest. Food is a misleading term because everything one eats does not maintain the vitality of one's life. What does bubble gum do for you? You eat it, but what does it really do? It's like you're chewing a piece of plastic. Like what, with sugar on it, Food is a misleading term because everything one eats does not maintain the vitality of one's life. The attuned hip-hopper must find life-giving food and eat it. Because sometimes we see life-giving food all the time, we just don't eat it. And we talked earlier about eating termites. Termites are life-giving foods. We ain't eating that, ain't we? Roaches, cockroaches, full of protein, minerals, and vitamins. Are you ready to get down? But these are real examples. There used to be a show called Fear Factor. Try to dig that one up. And they used to put the most disgusting thing on a plate. And let me back up. It's not disgusting. In our society, we've been trained in worms and all types of crazy creatures on a plate, as well as, things like bull's nuts. And they had everything in a bowl ready for you. And it was a mind trick. That was the point of the show, that all of this can be eaten by human beings. All of it. They had spiders, tarantulas. Like, can you bite into a tarantula? Like, and you win money if you could do that. It's called Fear Factor, if you remember, is back in the days. I think that's the name of it. But my point here is that even if you see life-giving foods, that don't mean you're going to eat it. It's a conditioning of the mind, which again, the society is telling you what to eat. Chicken, beef, fish. Chicken, beef, fish. Maybe a little goat, maybe a little veal. Maybe you could go into the sea world, gives you a little more variety. You might get a bison here and there, a bull, whatever it is. But basically, chicken, beef, fish, chicken, beef, fish. Maybe a little lamb. You can maybe get a rack of lamb. You can get a little, but basically, chicken, beef, fish, chicken, beef, fish. And we act like chickens with beef. It's like we're chickens fishing for beef. We act like the foods we eat. That's the point. We act like the animals we eat. And, I'm not going to get into that long drawn out conversation we was having earlier today, but you are what you eat. Food is mood. And look at how docile we are being in the face of blatant injustice all around us in our environments. Look at the fish. Look at the genetically engineered foods, the fish, the chickens, the cows, all of it genetically engineered. And it got to have some effect on our mood and how we are approaching things. Sun One talked about earlier the fluoride in the water and how fluoride is known to make people passive, even demasculating people, raising that feminine hormone up in you. This thing in the fluoride in the water. Fluoride all in the water. We're not even drinking real water or bathing in real water. We call it water, but it's really now a substance that we're bathing in, drinking, and this, that, and the other. Real water might only be in Switzerland, maybe, because you can at least see the mountain that water's coming from. You go to Switzerland, Zurich, and all these places, you can see the mountain dripping. And they tell you about water here. Turn your faucet on. The water is good. And it is good. And they're pumping it, but that's Europe, and that's only one spot in Europe. Go to Germany, you might have a problem. Go to England, you might have a problem. Okay, go to France, you might have a problem. Okay, but Switzerland and parts of Italy and Greece and all that, you get water, real living water, and you drink it and it's healthy. You feel like somebody just shot you with something, like something rejuvenating. And you say, wow, all I had was a real glass of water. All I had was a real glass of water, and I feel good. And what a feeling. They call them healing springs. Do some research on that. People bathe in them. People go there. Healing springs, and the earth produces this. The earth produces healing springs. You don't have to always pop a pill. If you got the money or got the time, find yourself in a healing spring. Go, mess with the Aboriginals. Go talk to the shaman priests out in the Aborigines, out in Peru, out in these places. They're healing sickness all day, but if it's not on CNN or not trending online, we have no knowledge. Nothing. It's like it's invisible. Crazy. So it's time to grow up. Let's continue the reading here. So, yeah, this is where it was. Yeah, we were elaborating on productive ideas. Love for this piece. If you miss it. So food is a misleading term because everything one eats does not maintain the vitality of one's life. The attuned hip hopper must find life-giving food and eat it. Everything edible is not food. Every new idea is not nourishing. Every environment does not enhance your well-being. Know thyself. Actually, the term food should be thought of as either energy/vibrations or as chemicals. You get that? Okay. Actually, the term food should be thought of as either energy, vibrations, or as chemicals. That's what food is. It's energy and chemicals, which means it's vibrations and minerals, chemicals. For the stomach knows not what is warm. The stomach knows not what is warm, cold, hot, or freezing. And the mind eats both love and hate. The small and large intestines know not sour or sweet, salty or bitter. All foods are read by the internal organs as chemicals. It is mostly the tongue that determines what is sweet, sour, salty, bitter, hot, cold, warm, or freezing. But these are sensations that mostly happen in the mouth, whereas such sweet, salty, and bitter taste can produce some very harmful effects upon other areas of the body once leaving the mouth. So this idea of just eating only for the mouth, that's immature. You got to eat for your whole body. Salty and sour and sweet and pungent and all that. That's only right here on the tongue. After it leaves the tongue and go down the throat, it becomes a chemical. It becomes a chemical. There's no other way to put it. It becomes a drug. It becomes a thing that's going to affect your mood and also the physiology of your body. Let's highlight this next paragraph, paragraph 28. The whole paragraph is highlighted, and here's why. Likewise, all ideas are eaten by the mind as vibrations. Both harmonious and disharmonious ideas are eaten and digested by the mind, which in turn manifests the essence and intention of such ideas in the life of the eater, thinker. The act of reflection is the mind's digestive process. The more you think about something, the realer it becomes. Such an idea is digested in the mind as good, evil, happy, or sad, based upon the experiences of one's life and what set of values one has chosen to live by. This is packed with knowledge right here, and let's unpack it right now. Earlier, we talked about the idea that the same way you eat and what happens in a natural environment, any animal would eat and eat something natural, even if it's another animal. The body takes the nutrients from what you eat. And what the body does not need, not that it's not good, it's just your body don't need it. It discards it and turns it into feces, which is then discarded through your anus, through your butt. Boom, comes out. It's called defecation. You defecate your feces. Now, most animals in nature, when they defecate, that feces becomes fertilizer. Ants, termites, spiders, all types of things start eating that. And plants arise, seeds can go in there, other things, the soil just becomes fertile at that point. That's what your feces, your shit, is supposed to be doing to the ground. It's not supposed to go into a toilet. It's supposed to go back into the ground and replenish the natural environment of things. So, and of course, you see this with elephants, with bulls, with animals that when they drop their load, okay, whole towns are formed. Cities are built because they eat and their body takes what it needs and then drops. It's called elephant dung or cow manure. Actually, the literal interpretation of what is called bullshit. It's funny in the Western society, bullshit is something to look down. Man, that's bullshit. But without bullshit, nothing gets made. The shit from bulls is fertilizer for thousands of years. Okay, this one, we're basically eating bullshit. Damn, did I say that? Well, this is the truth. And you more research on that about fertilizer and how animals. My point here is that just as you are eating and you're supposed to eat, your body takes the ideas and defecates out what it doesn't need. That defecation is supposed to be charitable. That's the charitable act of the body. It uses it and doesn't use all of it. It turns it into something else that's useful for somebody else. That means we can never, nothing in nature can ever really go hungry because the food is being passed around and changed in nature, but still nourishing everybody it comes to. Look at how nature does that. Now, take that and apply it to the mind. Now, the mind eats ideas, and the defecation process of the mind is the mouth, your words. You take in ideas, and your subconscious mind absorbs all the nutrients of those ideas. And what comes out your mouth is the conscious mind, what's left over. Ugh. So what kind of shit are you talking? What is it really? Is it nurturing when you when you put forward your word? Is it fertilizing the situation? Or when you put forward your word, it is exactly what, okay? It's that other thing. It ain't no fertilizer, ain't nothing. It's waste. Do you talk waste or do you talk fertilizer? This is the analogy. This is why we're highlighting 28. And that's one of the explanations of 28. How the mind digests ideas and digests them, then defecates them through the mouth. In a natural situation, your defecation through the mouth is a fertilizer to make things grow. But in an unnatural situation where you're not healthy, your words become waste and nobody can use it. It's toxic waste. And this is the point. So likewise, all ideas are eaten by the mind as vibrations. Both harmonious and disharmonious ideas are eaten and digested by the mind, which in turn manifests the essence and intentions of such ideas in the life of the eater. You eat ideas and your mouth speaks them and it manifests in the environment you're in. You make your environment with your mind. I had an album called The World Is Mine. And not M-I-N-E, M-I-N-D. The world is mind. You make your world with your mind. And the tools that make your world are your words. These are tools. These are the tools. These are the fertilizers or the toxic waste you're spitting. The act of reflection is the mind's digestive process. Memory is when the mind's digested. Rumination. It's ruminating these ideas. This is the digestive process. The more you think about something, the realer it becomes. That's its own 40-minute lecture. That right, just that. I mean, and that's such a prevalent line within the metaphysical circles. Everybody, every metaphysician knows this line. Every James Allen fan and Ernest Holmes fan and the Christian Science fans and all that. Everybody know what this is. The more you think about something, the realer it becomes. That's the secret. That's what the bleep. That's pretty much 90% of self-help and positive thinking is right here in this one sentence right here. The more you think about something, the realer it becomes. Such an idea is digested in the mind as good, evil. Now, this last part here has to do with character. Such an idea is digested in the mind as good, evil, happy, or sad, based upon the experiences of one's life and what set of values one has chosen to live by. It deals with your character. Everybody's not going to look at things the same way, and you can't. You got to look at how things are responding to you. So such an idea is digested in the mind is good, evil. Like, in other words, what Christopher Columbus was thinking, was digesting in his mind, was not a good idea for the indigenous people. But maybe what the indigenous people were thinking was not a good idea for Christopher Columbus. And so you got to really think about that. And these are morals. This is issues of morality, ethics and morals. You know, what is good, what is bad, you know, this kind of thing, what is evil, this kind of thing. But here, in terms of health and in terms of mental health, on top of that, what is considered good or evil, happy or sad, is based on the experiences of your own life. Your own life determines what you think is good and what you think is bad. So if in fact you live a life where it's cool to hang black people, you don't see nothing else. You go to church, praise Jesus, come out and be just as racist as ever, because this is your point of reference. This is it right here. And I just use that as just one blatant example, but then, you know, apply that to anything. You know, apply it to anything. What is good? What is bad? What is it that, you know, people...
It's easier to see with the witch trials. So nobody feels guilty.
With the witch trials?
Yes, because these are all church people hanging regular people.
Oh, yeah, you know it's the truth.
Really weird.
So as another example, Minister Son One wants to just add a more broader example by adding the Salem witch trials. And I mentioned the Salem witch trials, but the witch trials that were happening all across the northeastern and eastern part of the United States and in Europe as well, as just another example of what is evil. And what is good, what is evil, what is happy, what is sad. And usually it's the dude with the gun that's determining what's evil and what's not evil, and what's good and what's not good. You know, that's what it's been for the last 600 years, maybe 1,000 years. That's what it's been in this world. Whoever can kill, whoever can shoot, whoever can deceive the most is the one who's determining the ethics and the morality of the societies in which they rule over. And that's what it's become. Now, those days are really going to the waste. You know, you can look outside your window and see that none of those old ways are standing up to the new ways. None of them are standing up. But it doesn't have to go away. There's a lot to learn. If you can broaden your consciousness, there's a lot to learn. We were talking about colonialism, and I'm a staunch critic of colonialism, especially European colonialism into the Americas and into Africa and into the Caribbean. Staunch critic. But at the same time, I also know that when you ask some African scholars on the continent of Africa about colonialism, they'll tell you, no, Chris, everything you say is right. But there were some good things about colonialism as well. The roads got built. We did get electricity. Telephones came in. Irrigation came in. This kind of stuff. So some countries benefited greatly from European colonialism and imperialism. Most of us did not. And the argument is that European colonialism and imperialism did more bad than it did good. It did good and bad, but it did more bad. It did more damage than it did any kind of healing or establishing. But Africans in Africa will tell you, we learned a lot with that colonial white man. We learned a lot. We got a lot as well. When France left and Britain left and so on, they left that infrastructure there and also left a form of government there that wasn't there before as well. And people look to Black Africans to that and say, yeah, we're going to keep this government, we're going to keep these things in place because it's good and it worked. And any thinking people can see if something's working, you're not just going to get rid of that, no matter who it comes from. So I'm just elaborating on 28 because 28 is packed with knowledge. Right there, and even as you read it, you could even go further than what I'm going with here. Let's continue. Paragraph 29. The attuned hopper must begin to eat not just for the tongue, but for the total well-being of the body and mind. For sickness is almost always an indication that one is out of harmony with one's true being. However, on the subject of food, when one's mind is fresh and clean, one will seek and eat foods that are fresh and clean. Most people judge how they are going to eat and think based upon reactions of the tongue and or the emotions, emotional eating. These acts are immature. Taste has little to do with health, and likewise, basing one's expanded awareness on if it feels good or not prevents the true hip-hopper from gaining wisdom. Excuse me. For it is when we are challenged and threatened that we learn of our strengths and weaknesses, and we become wise. However, most people simply don't want to go through pain, suffering, and or hard times to become wise, yet most people desire to be wise. Likewise, few people voluntarily invite the bitter and sour tastes of life, but everyone desires to be prosperous and strong. Sure, there are some stimulating benefits to good tasting foods, as well as emotionally stimulating ideas. But taste and soothing emotional ideas alone cannot compare to the benefits of simply eating and thinking to productively live and develop. Most people despise rain, as this is an example. Most people despise rain, for when it is raining and or snowing, everyone appears to be inconvenienced. However, it is during these seasons that the earth is preparing to bring forth its harvest. No rain, no harvest. We're highlighting 34. I'll tell you why after I read it. Hip-hoppers must begin to get accustomed to the delight of bitter, raw, sour, and or room temperature foods, just as we would delight in sweet, cooked, salty, hot, and or cold foods. Hip-hoppers must get used to the rainy and stormy seasons of life and use those difficult times as moments to spiritually learn, grow, and seek opportunity. Such habits create wisdom. Now, you're highlighting this whole piece because this is another one of these. This is a whole lecture unto itself. But the reason you're highlighting it as scholars of the gospel is because this is connected to the sixth overstanding of the gospel of hip hop, which is called the seasons. And the seasons talks about navigating tough times in life, the storms of life, the sunny times of life, the windy moments of life. These are examples of real life circumstances that hit you and how to navigate these circumstances. That's in the sixth overstanding of the gospel of hip hop. We didn't get there yet. Those that have the gospel, you just jump ahead. But this right here, paragraph 34, is connected to that. So I'll read it one more time. This is the seasons, which we're beginning to introduce the way in which we speak. We speak naturally when we speak of hip hop. We speak of the old ways, the natural ways, using natural examples to explain modern concepts of philosophy, spirituality, etc. So hip-hoppers must begin to get accustomed to the delight of bitter, raw, sour, and or room temperature foods, just as we would delight in sweet, cooked, salty, hot, and or cold foods. Hip-hoppers must get used to the rainy and stormy seasons of life and use those difficult times as moments to spiritually learn, grow, and seek opportunity. Such habits create wisdom. That's in another chapter, but you can see it's also part of good health. In our time, there is no way around this discipline, just as rainy days are bound to happen in one's life so that the harvest can come later. All foods, bitter or sweet, are chemicals, and all food combinations, which are causes, are like mixing chemicals in the laboratory of your physical body, manifesting an effect. When we feel sick because of what we have eaten, it is because we have violated the delicate balance of our physical bodies by disregarding the very real reality of what nurtures the body, mind, and or even the spirit. In reality, when we disregard truth, we suffer. And that's all know that. And in reality, when we disregard truth, we suffer. However, all suffering is temporary. In fact, the attuned hip hopper has realized that suffering is actually a purifier. It is a director. It is a common creator of wisdom. Suffer once or twice, but learn your lesson. It is with wisdom, and usually in hindsight, that people see how their hardest and most difficult times in life were actually the times that they grew up and realized more truth. It is for these reasons that wise people are scarce and hard to come by. It is because no one chooses to suffer so that they may become wise. Likewise, few people are willing to eat the bitter and sour foods of the earth, even if such foods are healthier for them than the sweeter and tastier foods they are accustomed to. And of course, that also goes into eating termites, roaches, spiders, etc. And that goes in there too. Yet, when they become ill, they seem to find the discipline to eat the necessary foods required for healing. But again, why must we wait until we are suffering to simply eat right, rest, and exercise? This last line is underlined. Underline this last line. It is obvious that if we always eat as if we are recovering from illness, we shall never be sick. Let's read that one more time. It is obvious that if we always eat as if we are recovering from illness, we shall never be sick. Know this, to spiritually grow, we must get accustomed to and even invite at times the suffering. The suffering, the failures, the disappointments of life, for they are not actually setbacks. They are the way in which many human beings learn. I know I learned like this. Such suffering is usually caused by not taking yourself seriously. And that's the truth. That's the truth right there. By not taking yourself seriously, you suffer. I learned like this. I learned not taking myself seriously. You suffer. Now, here's what we got to underline. The first line of paragraph 40. We're underlining this only the first line of paragraph 40. We're underlining this right now. If you have declared your spiritual identity, then you must seriously live it out, or you shall physically deteriorate. That's a law. That's a rule. That's a standard, a principle right there. And this is what we underline. If you have declared your spiritual identity, you say, I'm on this path, this is what it is, then you must seriously live it out, or you shall physically deteriorate, because you now declared a deeper aspect of yourself. And if you don't nurture that, this outer aspect is going to show it. Things that others can do freely and effortlessly in the physical world, you will not be able to do. However, the things that you can do freely and effortlessly in the physical world, as well as in the spiritual realm, others will not be able to do. Know thyself, love thyself, and most of all, respect thyself. Don't hide your blessing. Don't hide yourself. Reveal yourself. One of the most difficult things for any seeker of truth to achieve is to simply take his or her spiritual self seriously. Sometimes it is just too much to believe that you are actually the one chosen by God to fulfill the purpose of the universe. And I said this before, that is a lie. Okay, that's a lie. I'm actually me? Chosen by God to fulfill a purpose of the universe? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Okay? Yeah, exactly. It's you. Okay? Chosen by God to fulfill the purpose of the universe. What a privilege. What an honor. What a burden. What a pain. What a suffering. But what path are you on? And that's what this lesson is. Hey, matter of fact, let me even go further with it. One of the most difficult things for any seeker of truth to achieve is to simply take his or her spiritual self seriously. Here's the next line. Sometimes it is just too much to believe that you are actually the one chosen by God to fulfill the purpose of the universe. What an honor. And what a burden. It's both. What an honor. And what a burden. However, if you continue to doubt, fear, and or fail to put aside all habits and pleasures in exchange for the manifestation of true purpose, then you shall truly suffer and deteriorate, achieving nothing in the end. Grow up. That's the point here. And that's what we keep getting back to it. Grow up. Grow up is about good health. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. God has but one purpose for you, and if you fail to fulfill it, the universe itself has no use for you. This is where sickness and suffering begins. Through suffering, the mind of the universe teaches and directs those that have a special purpose. Know thyself. Seeing suffering, failure, and disappointment as purifiers, life guides, and wisdom builders, the hip-hopper learns quickly what to do and what not to do in order to establish a lasting peace in one's life. Suddenly, wise advice, or the privilege of learning without suffering, becomes very useful and important. Perform listening. Go back, look at that lesson, and see how it applies here. Look at this line. Suddenly, wise advice, or the privilege of learning without suffering, becomes very useful and important. This is what wisdom is about. I don't have to go to prison for 25 years for me to be curbed out of crime. Somebody sitting next to me, 25 years. I just served 25 years. You don't want it. He told you, you don't want it. That's not where you want to be. I just served 25 years. You really don't want this. That's wisdom. Right there. That's wisdom. Now, either you're going to heed that wisdom and change your ways, or you're going to continue to do the criminality and wind up 25 years. And it's that simple. Life is simple, really. We humans make it complicated, but life is really simple. Do what's right. That's it. Seek right, do right, be right, think right, right. I think the Buddhists talk like this as well, come to think of it. Yeah, Buddha has a teaching, I think it's the Eightfold Path or something in this area, where you think right, eat right, talk right, or I think they have right action, right thinking, right this, be right, just try to be right. Keep right. If I may, a shameless plug on the album that came out 15 years, 20 something years ago. If you can go get that, keep right. Yeah, that was the point to that as well. So for just as the body reads material food items as chemical compounds and digests these foods according to physics, not according to whether it tastes one way or another, the hip-hopper has realized that all life circumstances are created for the further perfecting of oneself, the good and the bad, meaning the sour, the bitter, that's good too. All circumstances, I'm sorry, and this is an important line. We're going to underline, I'm in paragraph 44. We're underlining the last sentence of paragraph 44. And there's an error in there that I want to point out as well. In this reading, we in this reading we point out the errors as well, printing errors and so on, and grammatical errors that are within the book as well. You should know where the errors are. One of them we're coming up on right now. Here's the sentence that we are going to underline. Here we go. all circumstances, good or bad, tasty or bitter. Now, notice how I'm using the word circumstances. This is a life circumstance, but I'm using food terms, okay? Because that's the analogy of this first lesson. All circumstances, good or bad, and the analogy, tasty or bitter, are to be used towards one's own advancement and the advancement of others. Ding! All circumstances, good or bad, tasty or bitter, are to be used toward one's own advancement and the advancement of others. Underline that. Try to find the success in everything because it's there. Now, the error is in this part where it says all circumstances, good or evil, tasty or bitter. This is the error right here. Are to be used, those who have their gospel, you'll see an open space there. There's an open space there. That's a printing error. The used between used and toward, it's open. It's too far apart. That's an error. Just mark that down. Okay, here's our last sentence. Remember, love and forgiveness replenishes, while hate and resentment deplete. Matter of fact, can we just go ahead and underline that? You know what? I gotta get it. Because this one right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and get that right there. Go ahead and get that. I'm gonna say it again. Remember, love and forgiveness replenish, while hate and resentment deplete. If you wish to sustain the health of your body, you must sustain the health of your mind. And now we're going to underline this other remember. Here's the last remember. We're underlining it right here. Remember, whatever the mind creates, the mind must maintain. Say it again. Remember, whatever the mind creates, the mind must maintain. Believe in yourself. Take your divine self seriously. Do not neglect yourself. This part here about remember, whatever the mind creates, the mind must maintain. There's a movie called The Freestyle, where I'm explaining the art of freestyle. And you can go to that and you'll see within there, I was having a discussion with a gentleman about this. It was one of his favorite lines out the gospel, and he asked me about it at this club called the Jazz Cafe, and I explained a little bit about what that actually means, or at least at the time, my explanation. It comes several times throughout the gospel. This one statement comes at least 3 times in the gospel of hip hop. This is its first statement right here. It's going to pop up again, and that's why we was discussing it in that way. So for good health, the idea is to believe in yourself, take your divine self seriously, do not neglect yourself. Prevention is the key to actual good health. To think about yourself, those of you that may be in your 20s, or and I say your 20s, eat healthy now. Don't wait. Eat healthy now. It pays off. It pays off. Taking vitamins, and not every day you got to take a vitamin, but include vitamins and minerals, the chewable ones, like candy. Instead of eating candy, eat vitamin. Vitamins will do more for you. And I say the same thing, meaning that vitamins are actually useless, because you eat the vitamin, doctors will tell you eat the vitamins, you pee most of them out. In order for you to really get the vitamins you need, you should the foods that have the vitamins in them, because there's a whole ecosystem going down your throat. Minerals and other elements are going to make those vitamins work. When you just isolate the vitamin into a capsule, you're not getting the full blast actually of the vitamin itself. That's why even though I lean toward the vegetarian diet and I eat a lot of fish, that I urge, especially for women, to eat meat every once in a while. Get that iron in you, which can only it only comes from cow. in other words, the B12 vitamin, I'm not going to get into this right now, but we're talking about health. This is important that the body needs the B12 vitamin. It needs it. We need B12, okay? You can get B12 from a variety of other sources. Certain beans have B12. Fish even has B12 and so on. But the bang source of B12 is beef. What a relief. This is where the B12 comes from. And I noticed that even though I put the song Beef out, no doubt, and still to this day, I lean toward that vegetarian. Like I say, that's just it's my habit. You know, I lean toward that vegetarian fish. I'm more of a pescatarian than anything. But I also recognize that all of what I'm eating doesn't have all the nutrients that the body actually needs, starting with that B12 vitamin, the B complex vitamins. So I eat gummy bears. I pop these gummy bears in my mouth. And they have vitamin B12 gummy bears, vitamin C gummy bears. Sometimes Simone and I, we buy so many of these things. You know, you got D3. These are vitamins. You know, D3. You got B12. You got E. You got all these different vitamins, and then apple cider vinegar, the goalie. You see J-Lo. What she got? We got some G going, all of this type of stuff. But you notice that when you take all of these stuff, they say you take two or three based on what you're dealing with. But the is two of them. And so you got 2 B12, 2 B something else, B6. You got D3, 2 D3s. You got apple cider vinegar. You got elderberry root. You got all types of stuff. I'm trying to think, but you got all of this going, and you'll notice that once you have all of them together, you got a nice bag of candy. Like you got a nice sack of candy, but they're all vitamins. They're all gummy bears. They're all so you got your candy. And I make a nice bag. I take it with me to the studio and so on. And instead of eating gummy bears the regular gummy bear, I pop vitamins. Boom, boom, boom. And what's gonna happen? I'm gonna pee most of them out. But I eat so many of them that something gonna stick and stays. And I noticed my vitality is up. I noticed that, in situations where you should be tired, you're not. That vitamin C is amazing, man. And it's a cure, it's a healer on top of that, vitamin C. So I'm just saying all this in terms of good health, and maintaining your health. I'm 56 right now. That's my number, 56. I feel great. I feel like Tony the Tiger. Great in that sense. I got tours to do. I got things to do. I ain't got no time for the nonsense. So I say this to say that, and I say this humbly because, again, my peers around me are dropping off. I mean, I ain't got to tell you. You see what's going on. But at the end of the day, I have been taking vitamins for 25, 35 years. I haven't eaten the meat. Well, every once in a while, I did take a little bit of the oxtail. I will admit that. But no, I'm a pescatarian. Basically, that's what it is. I eat junk food. I ain't going to lie about that. All the junk you eat, I eat. Period. Except the stuff that hurts my sinuses. Like that high salt stuff. I can't do it, and all that other stuff. But no, come on. Come with the cake. Come with the Dunkin' Donuts. Come on with the hot dog. Come on now. Come with it. What? I'm going to eat anything everybody else eat. But I made it to 56, and I feel great. Now I'm going to keep moving. So, like I said, you have to know who you are, and you got to know what you need. And once you realize who you are and what you need, and hopefully you realize that before 40, you really realize this is my diet. I know what it is. Now, if I want to binge and splurge and go over here, I know what it is. But I know what my healthy diet is, and this is my standard. You should know that by 40. Some would even say 30, really, for maximum health. You should know that by 30, really. But I've seen people binge out till they was 40 and then decided 40, I'm going to be vegetarian. and they actually doing well. They're doing fine. Like, you know, it's like you just partied all the way to 40. And then at 40, you say, now I'm going to do this. And it works. And it works. But again, you got to know who you are. I ain't telling you to binge out on no cake and then wait to 40. You may not even get to 40. That's it with that. Okay. But the point is you got to know who you are. Got to know who you are, and you got to look for that healthy diet. We all know that the low salt, low sugar, you know, get away from everything white, you know what I'm saying? Get away from the bread, the white rice, the pasta, all the stuff I love. Put that in perspective, you know, get it over here. The salt, the sugar, the flour, put that in perspective and get with those green vegetables, get with water, at least the purest water you can get. Get to the water, get to the green vegetables, get to the fish. Get to the fish. Salmon, excellent fish. Codfish, great for the heart, great for the digestive system as well. You know, and then lean toward that vegetarian diet. If you can do beans, red kidney beans, black-eyed peas, come on now. These are whole foods too, by the way. You can do beans and rice and be good. You don't need nothing else. That's it. So we're going to get into that as the reading progresses. But this is the end of this reading. We finally got it down. We wasn't shut off. I guess my teachings is approved by YouTube in that sense. So we are not censored at this particular moment. But it is about your health. And so we're going to link up next week again. And again, this is a 7 o'clock session because of what our 12 o'clock was going through. But now we'll be back again next Sunday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. I am KRS-ONE. I'm here with G. Simone. I'm here with Minister Son One. And it's me, KRS-ONE, and I'm here with you. And so next week, we will get into the second principle, possibly second, third, and fourth, get into that. And thanks again for being part of this movement. You know, there is no me without you. So I'm going to turn this over to Son One, who's going to take us out. And thank you again for listening. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. Peace and love, y'all.
And there it is. Peace and much love, everybody. I have just one point because a lot of even what I was talking about right before TEACHA arrived really got settled within that first part as far as what I was talking about as far as what's actually really happening. But I did want to focus real quick back on to paragraph 41 and the beginning of 42. One of the most difficult things of any seeker of truth to achieve is to simply take his or her spiritual self seriously.
That's right.
Sometimes it is just too much to believe that you are actually the one chosen by God to fulfill the purpose of the universe.
Wow. What
an honor and what a burden. And this is really what I was talking about as far as the audacity. or what people would consider the audacity of you to feel that way. But in a sense, for the fact that God does actually have a purpose for you to fulfill, you skip down to that first sentence in 42. God has but one purpose for you, and if you fail to fulfill it, the universe itself has no use for you. Now, if you don't have the audacity, and then you don't fulfill your purpose, the universe and God, or God, the universe, has no use for you. So this is where I mean by you really want to take on this attitude, and it has a lot to do with your health, self-esteem wise, and actually has a real effect on your health itself. Because again, if you feel like you're fulfilling the purpose of God, you are at peace. You do feel superhuman. You feel as though you can accomplish things that most normal people necessarily wouldn't believe that they could accomplish. And you actually do accomplish it. And for those of us that feel that way, it's because it's the universe accomplishing it. Where it says that the universe has no use for you, in this sense, you have to be willing to have the universe use you. And if you're unwilling to do that, which then would mean that you're unwilling to fulfill the purpose that it has for you, then the life that you live, odds 10 to 1, is going to be very unfulfilling. Or you won't accomplish special things. And I feel as though then God has no reason so much, except for the fact that God loves you regardless, to necessarily show you its existence. I'm sure it always still feels the need to provide assistance to you, because we can't exist without this anyway. But you want to you want to do your best to interpret what your purpose is that God has for you and manifest that in your life. It really just makes everything better, for yourself and for those around you. And I think this is where a lot of times where certain things get superseded as far as physics may be concerned. This goes out of the realm of regular scientific physics into the metaphysics, that I would say is really dictating what's happening. Because again, if you're needed at a certain space and time to fulfill a purpose of God that really only you are willing to do, God is going to take care of you to make sure that you can do that, fulfill that purpose. Now, once that purpose is fulfilled, the ramifications of your own actions may come into course, but you can then also still be at peace with yourself and rest assured that you fulfilled the purpose that God had for you. And for me, that's the ultimate reward for life, or the gift of life that I received, that if I can be of use to God, I want to be, I'm willing to be, and I trust that God in all my steps is leading me in that direction to be what it wants me to be, not just what I want me to be, but it is what I want me to be, because I want to be what it wants me to be. And I would be happy however it manifested it, but what you're seeing right now is the way it manifested it for me. And if I were you, I don't be too caught up in your circumstances, because again, down here on the bottom at the end of 44, all circumstances, good or bad, tasty or bitter, are to be used towards one's own advancement and the advancement of others. And this is continuously happening. And as we learn in the divine performance literally assists in setting up the circumstances of your life. So you do have I don't want to say control, but a little bit in a sense, control of to how certain circumstances end up coming to you. So if you just work on that, to know what may be happening in the present isn't necessarily the ultimate end, and it isn't the end all be all. That if as long as you are as long as you are performing divinely and essentially enacting the teachings of the divine performance and the Hlaw together the best that you can. And we're not saying obviously, or nobody's doing this perfectly, but we're perfectly moving in that direction to do so. And it starts with having the knowledge first. You get the knowledge, and now you have a key, you have a map of how to aid God in guiding you into fulfilling the purpose that it has for you ultimately, so that you can be like the gospel talks about, a prize tool that gets put away and thanked for its good services, and not essentially just tossed away because it's a broken tool and doesn't work. So with that, I'll end on that. I did start earlier today in essentially warn people that and this is what's so ironic about all the occurrences of how it all happened. I warned people that we wouldn't necessarily always have a beginning or an introduction before the class starts. So you might miss something if you think, oh, they're probably going to go for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes before, so I have time to get there. Again, as we spoke before, a lot of this is about discipline, and you showing God essentially how much you really even care about having access to this knowledge. And so you really and everyone around you should respect the fact that this is what you want to do on Sunday at this time, for whatever time it may take. Obviously things happen, and sometimes things will come up, and that's one thing. But no, just like you can't tell a Jewish person to work on the Sabbath. You can't ask a Muslim to miss Jumu'ah on Friday,
Or
Christian on Sunday. You can't do that. So when we have our thing, it's important that you be here and be present and not in and out, and really be here. Because again, not for nothing, but when everything got cut off today, nobody told us. I actually, and this is the wild thing, is because I was present and I was there to take in the lesson. I'm technically the only person who got the lesson in its entirety. I'm the only one. If it would have got cut off, somebody would have let me know. I would have shut it right off, hopped it right back on, and we would have picked up where we left off. So I'm just saying that all those things, when you add them up in the succession of me saying what I said in the beginning, that it get cut off, and us not knowing, and me sitting there, and it got right toward the end. If you thought tonight was right, you guys missed some real good stuff this afternoon. I promise you. And again, I feel blessed and privileged that I got to actually take it in, because our or this program that we're using continued as though it was what it was. He kept going, and I was sitting here until I ended up realizing that it wasn't, or still going on the phone. I had to text somebody and ask them, can you check and see? And then they told me, no, it's gone. So just know that we do depend on your help to give these messages and teachings and lessons to all of you. And because otherwise he could just teach me right here. Me and Simone, we could all do that. But no, obviously that's not what any of us wants. And I don't believe that's what God's purpose is for this gospel. It's not just for his son one and Minister Simone, though it is.
You know, and at the end of today's lesson, I did talk about how serious do you take yourself? How serious? Because at the end we talk about how serious do you take yourself, and success in anything has to do with how serious you are about whatever it is you're dealing with, and you know that stretched out into, you know, God will not be mocked, and the spiritual law will be fulfilled. Those that are part of this are going to see the result of what's going on, or watch us as the result manifests in front of your very eyes. And this is what I was saying earlier, which didn't get recorded. I was only talking to you, and not only, but I don't diminish you in that way. But it was only in the sense of one person. And it's funny that maybe that's the only one who needed to hear that particular lesson at that particular time. You don't know. But the lesson says that whether it's bitter or sweet, happy or sad, whether you're cut off or put on, use it to the advantage of yourself and others. And here's a real-time example in that. We need to get more tech savvy. Our building our own space. We talked about that as well, Hip-Hopia. So we need our own place. We need our own area. And that's what this points to. Our internet connections, our tech game, all of that. We can step up. But what's interesting is that we are also doing what we're teaching. So we don't have a director and a producer and an editor and a camera person and a lighting guy and so on. We hitting concerts, doing lectures, teaching people in supermarkets. And then we come here and try to, you know, put this together and make sure that our people are getting what they need to know right from out of the text that we created for our people. And so we're doing what we're supposed to do. The question is, are you doing what you supposed to do? And that's the real question. And today it just came up. You know, the thing went off, and I guess, you know, no one really contacted us or told us that we was off the air, and so on. So we just went on talking, and I guess that was it. And so, you know, maybe that should have been it. Because again, if there's not really that kind of commitment or interest, then what are we really doing? You know, in essence, then what are we really doing? We are recording the reading of the gospel of hip hop as it goes down in real time, with the author reading, with real life experiences being applied. This is for future historians, future teachers, future scholars of this particular knowledge. You getting it right now, right now. How serious are you taking yourself? That's the question. How serious are you really taking yourself? And I can imagine the people standing around Dr. Martin Luther King, or standing around Malcolm X, or standing around Jesus Christ or Moses, or some of these people. They said, no, he's just a regular guy. He's a regular guy. He's just right there. Yeah, there's Jesus right over there. You know, like it's no big deal. Yo, that's Dr. King. I mean, how many people had a drink with Dr. King? Chilled out, elbow Dr. King. you know. But did you really take yourself seriously when you were with Dr. King? Or did Dr. King take himself seriously while you were joking? And this is the seriousness of these lectures. Here, I know there's serious people on this call.
Oh, yes. No, really, and because people are bugging out because they're like the chat was disabled. That's a whole nother thing. Yes, the chat did get disabled, but no, everybody should know there's about, I would say, 15 temple members that have my direct number, of which I would have expected, or those who have been with the temple for years upon years, to actually call me and let me know. It has nothing to do with the new people, because they're like, we couldn't. No, we know you couldn't. That's not what it. There are others who we assume are with us and there for, in a case like this, to be able to assist us if something like that should happen. So it's not, or don't take any offense, or we know that most of you guys couldn't let us know.
And there it is.
There it is.
So I'm concluded. I jumped back on. I don't know how
no
that happened, but somehow that's what it is. Good night.
Yes, indeed. Peace and much love to you all. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. I am Minister Son One. I was our teacher, KRS-ONE. Shout out to Acronologist Minister G. Simone in the cut.